reassurance of having a permanent contract is something that played a role. Each company is different. They all have their own culture and their own method. Each department is different.
Hello, Sara. Thanks a lot for joining us in Science in the Break to talk about this interesting topic on the transition from academia to industry.
Very happy to give my contribution.
Yeah, great. Looking forward to it. So tell us a bit about your plans before or during your PhD. Did you have any idea on maybe moving to academia later? It was something that you had planned?
So I studied biomedical engineering, so something a little bit more practical and something that could really end up in an industry career, let's say. However, during my studies, I had this feeling that I was studying so much on books, that I was learning so many formulas, so many theories, so many stuff, and I had little practical experience. So at the end of 5 years, when I was doing my thesis, my master thesis, I was like, okay, I've learned so much and I have no idea how this thing works. So this thing practically works. So I was like, okay, I think I want to continue. I want to do a PhD because I want to do something practical. I want to have my hands dirty. When I thought about it, I was like, okay, it's just a PhD. I think after the PhD, most likely I will go into the industry. It's just because I really felt that I was not done studying, that there was something that I wanted to do again to learn more, which was the case, because then the PhD, yes, it was in neuroscience, but again, I learned everything about EEG, and then I learned how to program and so on. So after the PhD, I was like, okay, I'm definitely done. Now I can move to more to a real job, as my how do you say, my boss and my PhD supervisor called it, to a real job.
And during your PhD or even before, do you follow any courses to make the transition easier?
So my PhD school organized different courses on transferable skills, saying that they were meant for us to ease the transition from academia to an industry now. So those were more or less general courses on how to manage your time, how to become a leader. So if you wanted to, from a postdoc, become a PI, whatever. So I would say that they were still heavily focused on the academia.
But do you think that those skills, even if they were focused on academia, they are also skills needed in industry?
I think that the transferable skills that you learn during your PhD are those that then you can use and you can take advantage of in your job outside of academia. Reassurance of having a permanent contract is something that played a role. So in my case, I understand that there are people that do not care too much about it, that are okay with having a contract renewed every time. To me, having a permanent contract was actually a nice thing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I think the transferable skills, so how you learn to manage your time during your PhD, how you learn to talk to people, because when if you do a PhD where you go to conferences, you present to an audience, or you run some workshops, or you even get to teach, for example. Those are, you learn so to talk to people, to adjust your content, but also the way you structure a sentence. So really the words that you say based on who you're talking with, then that's something that you can really reuse, because when you are outside of academia and you have to talk to somebody from another department that have no idea what you are doing, then you would really structure your discussion in a way that also the other person would understand. And I can give a very nice example. I say this all the time. When I was preparing like the yearly review or the thesis dissertation and so on, I was always rehearsing with my sister, because my sister has no idea of what I was doing, in the sense that she was studying something completely different. If my sister could understand what I was explaining, then it meant that I was really conveying a good message in a way that even people that were not familiar with the topic could understand.
So once you have to put all these transferable skills in your CV, how is there any tip to put it, or is there any way, any difference between academia and industry, how to make your CV?
So this is something that I've learned by experience. I never had a course, I never had somebody teaching me like how to properly do a CV. The academia CVs are super long, with all the possible experiences that you have there. When you go to the industry, the HR wants to read the maximum 1.5 page. So there are some ways where you can structure your CV. I had like my fiance at that time, some friends that were working in industry, in consultancy and so on, review my CV, giving me some tips or on where to put things. So for example, at that time I put, that I did my PhD. For example, I mentioned that I ran a MATLAB course. So I was teaching in the university. So that's something that I put in the CV, because that was actual work. So I was paid on top to run the course. So that was real experience. But you squeeze everything. You really just give minimum information of what you did, of the tasks that you had to do, what were your responsibilities, what you achieved. So what you achieved is something that they love, especially if you are in sales or in business development, whatever. What did I achieve? I increased the revenue of the department of 50%, something like that. So that's something that in the CV of an industry, they love to see. Everything's super tight, super squeezed, minimum information with key words. And also your CV should be tailored to the position that you are applying. So if you have a position that is, I don't know, specific to a certain topic or to a certain role, then a suggestion that I received was take the words that there are in the job application and put them into your CV. Because then if they use, for example, software to evaluate your CV before the HR reads it, then the software matches.
How much time do you think you have to put into doing courses that can be useful for industry that are maybe not that useful for academia?
I think I would love to do a quick course on CV, for example. That's something that I would love. Because that's something that really, and that depends also on the country. So it really depends where you're applying. Other than that, honestly, until you get to the job, until you get to your colleagues, you can do as many courses as you want. You can read as much as you want. But then it's really when you are on the job, when you are in the office, that they get like they get in action, so that you really learn, okay, I have to let this go, okay, I have to be more solid, more proactive. So maybe there are some not basic, but there are some workshops that one could do, like an afternoon or a couple of hour workshops where you are told what is important in a specific industry, sector, or whatever. But again, each company is different. They all have their own culture and their own method. Each department is different. Maybe it would be good if somebody had an exact idea of where they want to land, then to focus on that. Maybe reading a book, maybe I think talking to friends and people that work in the sector is the best way to like learn what to expect. I think really talking to people. I see this with my husband now. There is talking to people that are in a specific role that he would like to aim to, is helping him to prepare also for job interviews, for example. So I think that that's the best piece of advice that I could give to somebody that would like to step out of academia and into industry. Try to speak to somebody that is in that position and can give you an insight.
Changing now from what are the main differences with academia, could you point a couple of main differences from your current job with what you lived in academia, what your experience was?
I am in a too lucky position because I'm in a company that is basically the bridge between academia and industry, because working for Brain Products, that we produce EEG systems for academia. Brain Products is the perfect bridge because everybody, more or less every one of us was a researcher before. So the company was built by researchers that slowly became also businessmen and businesswomen, but we are still heavily based and we handle with researchers every day. So when I was working for IBM, at that time there were many differences. I was used to be very flexible with my times. So I was doing my PhD alone in a lab that was not like a big lab, so I was really free of choosing when to go to the office, when to run my experiments, how to write my thing, and so on. And I was reporting just to my supervisors. And then when I went to IBM, it was very structured. I mean, it's a corporate, it's a big corporate, so you have to go to the office. There are some times, and then the home office was not an option at that time. I'm not sure about now. Now we are in home office very flexibly because of the pandemic, so things have changed. At that time, no, you had to go to the client, you had to go to the customer. I was used to dress very easily because I was preparing EEG caps. I think I still have some gel from yesterday. So I was dressed very humbly, let's call it like this. And then if you go to the customer, to the client for consultancy, you have to be properly dressed. So there are these minor surface things that change with respect to academia, which is a more relaxed environment. A corporate has a lot of rules, a lot of internal procedures that you should be following, requesting holidays, requesting a promotion, requesting this, requesting that. There's specific things that you have to follow. Now in Brain Products, it's less strict, so it's more also still person-to-person talking and so on. So, but because it's not a big corporate, so it really varies on the company. But usually the industry is more rules, a more strict environment. Academia, you're very relaxed. However, in academia, if you are doing your PhD, everything is on you. So everything is, if you fail your PhD, is on you. When you step in a company and you are part of a team, then it's the team. You have to work in a team. You have to report to many bosses, most likely. So it's also learning how to work with many other people. I was alone. I was working alone in the lab. I didn't have any PhD mates that were sharing the PhD with me. Then now I have a team that I have to work with. So it's learning how to cooperate also with the others. Of course, there are labs that a team, so there are people that are working on the same project, maybe different parts of the project. My case was different. So also learning from being alone to being in a big team, how you report to everybody, how you work with everybody.
And is there anything that you miss from academia or something that you don't miss at all?
Honestly, right now, since I work for Brain Products and basically I am still in the world of neuroscience, there's nothing that I miss. I like my job very much. I'm in the sales department, and before the pandemic, I got to travel, to go to conferences, to go to workshops, to do demo installations at some customers, some researcher sites. So it's the fun part of the job. So you travel, you meet people, you get to know what they need, you feed this back to the company so that we can improve what we sell and what we promote. And now we are doing everything online. Still, let's say that I don't miss anything because I still get to play with the EEG, I still get to play with the equipment, but I'm doing it in a way that I know that if my experiment does not work, I still get my job. So it's not that my postdoc or PhD is going to fail because I don't have to publish, I don't have to do this and that. So I have the reassurance, well, of course, we still have to deliver, we still have to make our researchers happy, but it's not all on me, it's a team, a company effort to bring everything forward.
Well, okay, thank you very much. That was
You're welcome.
Very interesting.
Hopefully this will help somebody else. And if you want to apply for Brain Products, let me know. We always look for a very eager person that would like to switch from academia.
Thank you very much, Sara, again.
Thank you.